My name is Deats. I own the kennels at Mill Creek Farm, or I did. I recently sold them to Dawn Cornell, and she and I are going to work together on this video. Between the two of us, we have a little over 80 years of experience in dog training and kennel management and habitat management. I also co-own the Rascal Quail Plantation in Central Virginia. The object of this video is to help people who are thinking of becoming professional dog trainers, or for serious amateurs and clubs and that type of thing. So we're going to get pretty in-depth in things. There's a lot of videos on the market, but most of them just kind of give you the basics. And we're going to go beyond the basics and get down to the nitty-gritty. Our goal is to take problem dogs, not just film easy dogs, but film problem dogs and really give you some insight in how training actually works. There are basically 5 aspects of dog training, or principles, you can call them what you want. The first one would be joy, and it's hard to say that one is more important than the other. It's kind of like when you build a house. A lot of people say, well, you know, your foundation's your most important thing in a house, but you know, if your house doesn't have a good roof, it's only a matter of time before even your foundation deteriorates. So these 5 things are all pretty much equally important, but if one was to be more important than all the rest, it would be the concept of joy. Keep the joy in it. Believe me, if you're not having any fun doing this, your dog's not having any fun. And you know, dogs were created, they weren't created in strife or anger, but they were created in joy. And you know, I'm kind of a religious fanatic. I come at it from that point of view. So if you read the book of Genesis, you know, when God created things, well, what it actually says is, in the beginning there was nothing, and then God created light, and there was still nothing, but you could see it, or something like that. But the truth is that in every step of God's creation, the Bible says to us that He stopped, and he looked at it, and He said it was good. In other words, you know, He kind of stood back and said, you know, it's pretty cool. Who's better than us? And I say all that to say this: there's a process in dog training, and you need to enjoy the process. You need to feel the joy of the process. You know, everybody's in a hurry to get to the end results, but truthfully, if you can't stand back all the way through and say, wow, that was fun, then you're probably not meant to be a dog trainer. And now that I'm on the subject of meant to be a dog trainer, you know, dog trainers are not necessarily trained. We could show you how to train a dog, but dog trainers are pretty much born to be dog trainers. I have a learning disability that probably helps me. I reason in pictures. I see everything in pictures. And dogs are mildly autistic, and so they see things in pictures and reason in pictures too. So that helps me because I see what the dog sees, and I understand that better. And you know, you may or may not be born with that, but if you're born with a real desire and your dream and your goal is to train dogs for a living, then you know, all we're going to do is teach you some techniques that are going to help you with that. You know, everybody talks about the pack, and the pack is another one of the 5 principles of dog training, obviously. And you know, Jack London was a wonderful writer, wonderful writer. I loved his writing as a boy, and I read everything that he's written, but you know, he didn't know jack about wolves. And you know, a pack of wolves is not led by the biggest, strongest male. It's not led by an alpha male. A pack of wolves is led by the smartest female, just like your house is. And that changes the dynamics. If you look at that and understand that and accept that, you understand that this is not about physically overpowering a dog. This is about being smarter than a dog and mentally overpowering a dog. And we'll get into that in depth. We're going to get into all 5 of these aspects of dog training in depth. Focus is another one, and this is the biggest problem that you as a pro will have with your clients, is that they won't see what you see. They don't really focus. They're real superficial about it. They would like to have a well-trained and well-behaved dog, but it's hard for them to concentrate and focus and get that done. But focus is kind of a two-way street. It's not only your focus and you being in tune, and the reason that's important is that you don't correct the dog after they've made a mistake. The real key to it is to jump in there just before they're going to make that mistake and correct it. And you need to be focused to do that. And it's a timing thing, and we'll show you that. Once again, we're going to get into that. But another thing is, where's the dog's focus? The dog needs to be focused on you at all times, know where you are, but they also have to be focused on the job that they're doing. And, you know, I'll give you a quick example here. When you send your dog for a retrieve, keep your mouth shut, because the minute you talk to the dog, you change his focus. You take his focus off of the bird and put it back on yourself. And once again, you know, I've said it several times here, but we'll go in depth in all these different aspects, but I'm just trying to give you a quick overview so you understand how our method works. The next aspect would be control. And, you know, everybody seems to like that aspect, control. You know, we want to be in control. But control doesn't really work like that. It's not a physical thing, it's a mental thing. And we're going to teach you how to start in control, stay in control, and end in control. And that's key. That's important. And the last one, and probably if you were going to go in order of importance, this would probably be your second most important one, and that is consistency. You know, dogs don't reason good in gray areas. You have to be consistent. What's good today has got to be good tomorrow, good the next day, and good the next day. And, you know, I like to give an example that, you know, kind of give you a little insight to this. You know, you ever go into a restaurant and, you know, the family there and the kids are kind of acting up. And, you know, one set of parents will say, you know, I'm going to count to 10 and you need to sit down. And they start counting, and the child sits down at 9.5. And another set of parents in the same scenario will say, you know, I'm going to count to 3 and you better sit down or you're in trouble. And, you know, at 2.5, the child sits down. And the third parent will say, you know, we're in a restaurant, you need to behave yourself, you need to sit down. And the child sits down. Now, one of these sets of parents is not better parents than the other. They just have a higher tolerance for BS, right? And, you know, dog people are like that too, you know. Some dog people have a very high tolerance for their dog acting up. But if you're going to train a dog and be consistent, you have to develop a zero tolerance. They've got to do it the first time, every time. You know, sit, 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 darn you sit doesn't mean any more than sit, you know. It's sit and the dog sits. On the other hand, you know, you have to have some patience with this. And patience with the dog, because a dog can be confused. And generally speaking, I tell people, if the dog's not doing it, always err on the side of confusion. Assume that the dog just doesn't understand what you want. You can always drop back to discipline, but if you start with discipline, you can't drop back to confusion. And if he's confused and you discipline, now he's even more confused, and you've hurt his feelings, or you may even have made him mad and made him stubborn and started a war. But, you know, he's still confused. You didn't change confusion by yelling at him and disciplining him. So, you know, err on the side of confusion. And then you can always drop back to discipline, but be consistent with that. You know, you know, have the patience to be consistent with it, and watch your dog, read your dog. Once again, focus on your dog. I'm not explaining this very well, probably, but I'm going to show you. We're going to demonstrate these things, and when we're training, I'll take a minute and point out what I'm observing and what I'm expecting, will happen, and you know, we'll get pretty in depth with what the dog's mind is portraying when we're reading him. Another thing, one little myth that I would like to dispense with right away is the myth that dogs learn by repetition. Dogs don't learn by repetition. They learn almost instantly. If you think about it, if a wolf cub in the wild doesn't learn instantly, he dies. You know, the mother wolf can't say to that bobcat, hey, could we rerun that and you're not eating? You know, they need to learn instantly or they don't survive. And if you realize that, you realize that repetition, what repetition usually does is confuse a dog, because they revisit it and revisit it and revisit it, and they wonder, why are we revisiting it? Especially a smart dog. Smart dogs are much more difficult to train than dumb dogs. Dumb dogs are like, yup, I can go get that thing, I can go get it again, I can go get it again. But a smart dog says, well, you threw it away 3 times, you must not want it. There's a difference in the way their mind works, and you need to learn to read a dog and how their mind is working, and we're going to work with you on that. In other videos, we're going to show you a lot of tricks to accomplish getting a dog beyond confusion and into a cooperative mode and into a joyful mode, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. A little later, I'll introduce you to Dawn Cornell, my partner in this video, and she and I will be working together.